How effective was opposition to governments in Russia throughout the period from 1855 to 1964? So your, I'd say, four themes for this essay would be, opposition from who? Different ones in each paragraph. So you could look at opposition from individuals and cliques within the government, opposition from peasants or urban workers, or from political parties. So here I'm going to look at opposition from urban workers. How effective were they? What success did they achieve? How effective were they? So I suppose you could start by saying, opposition from this group would involve some increased liberties, political liberties, or increased benefits to their working conditions as a result of their opposition to the government. Well, if you look at the evidence that they were effective, you can say that, well, they led to their protest on Kronstadt led to the NEP being introduced. So Kronstadt Rebellion in 1921 led to the NEP being introduced here. So that's an example of effective opposition. You could also say that, yes, I agree that it was effective in terms of earlier in the period when the protests, Bloody Sunday, led to the introduction of the Duma and more political freedoms then under Nicholas II. So we're saying yes for both of them. They both were effective opposition because they led to these beneficial outputs. The other part of the period, sadly for the Russian urban workers, are not so effective. So you've got the fact that Novocherkassk rebellion failed to produce any beneficial results as Khrushchev rolled in the tanks. Also in Hungary, in 1956, there was no real benefit to what they did there. Similarly, opposition is ineffective during Stalin's reign because you've got the gulags, you've got the NKVD. You've got very little evidence that their protest was anything more than sullen objection and maybe a slowing down of work. But you could say that maybe that is why that the first 5-year plans did not achieve their targets. That opposition, although quiet, was there. You could say even pointing to when the opposition groups achieved their aims seemingly under the assassination of Alexander II, he was killed. But then he led to more brutal treatment under Alexander III. So that's also a failure, and these are failures. We put these on. Finally, we can say that opposition was effective in the sense that it achieved the February Revolution and the October Revolution, but what benefits did these really lead to for, sorry, this should be over here, in here, before the Kronstadt Rebellion and the NEP. Let's get rid of this. Because even though these were successful, they overthrew the Tsars. Here, the two revolutions in February and October, they led to the misery under Khrushchev and Stalin. So you could arguably say that although they overthrew the Tsars, this did not lead to beneficial output. So that's it really. I would say that overall it was ineffective, and the opponents from urban workers did not achieve the beneficial outputs that they wanted to. Any questions? Ask the blog.